Hello and welcome to the CircuitPython Weekly for July 15th, 2019. My name is Scott and I work full-time on CircuitPython for Adafruit. Adafruit sponsors CircuitPython development, a number of us, so please give them your business at adafruit.com. You can buy lots of CircuitPython powered boards there, so check that out. This is our weekly meeting where we get together with our community members and the folks that are paid to work on CircuitPython to get all synced up and see what's going on. So we run this meeting. Everybody is welcome to join. It's done on the Adafruit Discord server, so anybody can join that at the URL adafru.it/discord. That's where you go to join it. We're in the text chat all week and in the voice chat during our meeting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. We do bump it from Mondays if there's a U.S. holiday, so we'll post in the text chat to the Circuit Pythonistas role. So if you're here and you want to get pinged about the meeting, we'll add you as a Circuit Pythonista. That's no problem. This meeting is recorded, so beware that both the Discord screen is being recorded and the audio is being recorded as well. It gets posted on the Adafruit YouTube, which is youtube.com/Adafruit, and Diode Zone occasionally as well. It's available on podcast services around the globe, so if you want to subscribe and listen in, there's that as well. And we do take notes, so you don't necessarily have to listen to this meeting, which typically runs about an hour. The notes will have a list of everything that we chatted about and time codes so that you can skip through the video or audio to the parts that you want to listen to. High-level overview of how this meeting is run. It's in 5 sections. We'll start with community news, which is an overview of like blog posts and things that have happened around CircuitPython. We'll follow that up with the state of CircuitPython and its libraries, which is a statistical overview of the health of the project. After that, we have Hug Reports. Hug Reports is a chance for us to say thank you to the folks that they've been working on CircuitPython for. And it's done as a round robin, so we'll give everyone in the voice chat a chance to say something. If you're unable to make the meeting, you can put notes in the doc. If you do not have a microphone but would like to say something, again, notes in the doc, and I can read those off. And lastly, if you just want to listen in and don't want to participate, you can say that you're lurking, and that's all good as well. So Hug Reports, chance to say thank you. After that, we have status updates, which is done in the same way. So it's done as a round robin as well. And this is a chance to say what you've been working on and what you plan on working on in the coming week. And then lastly, at the end of the meeting, we'll have our section In the Weeds, which is a chance to go into some deeper conversation about questions we have. This is kind of the place where we'll talk about like, oh, do we think we're ready for a stable release, or ask for guidance about some technical challenges as well. So, and that's the end. And as I said, it typically takes about an hour. So let's get going. We'll kick it over to start to Adafruit for community news.
Hello, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, first up, this is hot off the press, as they say. I'm adding it to the newsletter. There's some high-altitude balloon usage of CircuitPython, and we get these photos and videos, and I'm gonna pop in the text and the photo into the chat, and folks are starting to tell us like why they're choosing CircuitPython. So that's always helpful for a lot of the satellite and space work and anything in aerospace. It seems like iteration and maintainability is the most important thing. So if you are someone who works on something and you've decided to use like Python or CircuitPython, let us know, some of the benefits of that. We've seen rapid iteration, and that first 5 minutes, of course, is something, but also maintainability. And I thought that was kind of cool that was something that are just like, look, it's really hard to maintain the other way we were doing it. So we switched to CircuitPython, and that worked out really well. We have a guide coming up pretty soon. That'll probably be out by the end of the week. Kattni's working on it. And this is one of the requests that we get sometimes from manufacturers, board makers, folks on Tindy. They have a board, and it looks like it could support CircuitPython. Like, how do I get it added to CircuitPython adafruit.org/downloads. So we have a guide coming up, and just a little bit by the numbers. We have 66 boards right now. We have 16 Linux boards and 164 libraries. So that's working out pretty good. Next up, on I guess it was technically Sunday, but we were at Washington Square Park a little bit before midnight on Saturday, and we're doing Circuit Playground Express testing with Bluefruit, and it looks like we're getting close to like the maximum theoretical distance. And Circuit Playground Express Bluefruit's going to be our kind of our lead story by the end of the year. So as we get some of these made, we'll chat with the community, especially here, to help us get some stuff going. So if you're a person who does Bluetooth or wants to do Bluetooth and you're interested, we'll reach out as we get closer. Right now, we just have two. So, well, that's exactly the market share that we have.
Next time
Of
you'll have 4 and then 8.
yeah, it'll just double and double, and then
Mm-hmm.
the planet Earth will be covered with these. And then next up, CircuitPython Day is coming up. If you have an event or want to plan an event, email CircuitPythonDay@adafruit.com. There's a couple events coming up. We'll also have some surprises in our store and with some partners. We'll be able to announce those soon. And then lastly, congratulations, everybody. We're up to 13,000 people, humans, in Discord. And that's an amazing feat because it's hard to run communities. It's kind of what you invest in is what you get. And we all invest a lot in the community. So 13,000 people. And thanks for making it a great place that's very welcoming and a place where people want to stick around and learn from each other. So with that is the community news.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Phil.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go on to the state of CircuitPython. This is, as I said earlier, a statistics overview of the project. Gets us some concrete numbers in terms of like how many people are interacting with CircuitPython and the libraries along with pull requests. So we'll go over that. Overall, we've had 13 pull requests merged from 11 different authors. A lot of new folks, it kind of seems to me. RCE 1086 is new. TGIKLAL is new. Invent House, I think, has been on here a time or two before, but great to see them again. IoT 49, J&J Studios, and Marty McGuire are all folks I don't normally see on this list, so thank you to them in particular. We had 6 reviewers for those 11 or 13 pull requests, so thank you to all of those reviewers. Typically, if you're interested in getting started and participating into CircuitPython, reviewing is actually a great way. You see a fix for something coming in and you happen to have the hardware, trying that new version of the code and just chiming in to say like, hey, I tried this and it works great is super valuable. So I encourage everyone to get started and review. Issues wise, we had 13 closed issues by 7 people, 10 opened by 7 people. So we're net down 3, which is good. In general, we want to see more issues closed than issues opened. Overall, we are close to 4.1 stable release, and that's kind of being facilitated by getting 5.0 beta going. So should see a new stable release for some new boards. That's very exciting. And then on the library side, I've been very excited to see more and more community bundle additions. When we did the original Adafruit CircuitPython bundle, we've added a lot of things there, but we've actually seen a number of additions to the community bundle recently. So it's really, really exciting to see libraries starting to take off for non-Adafruit hardware. So thank you to everybody who's been doing those in particular. And now let's talk about the core in a little bit more detail. For the core, we had 5 pull requests merged from 5 different authors, so that's pretty awesome. We had 2 reviewers, myself and Sedacious. We had 7 open pull requests. There's a list in the notes of those. And issues-wise, we had 2 closed issues by 2 people and 4 opened by 2 people, so as is the case, the library issue count going down is kind of helping us a lot there. So thank you to everybody who's done those. We have a total of 182 open issues on CircuitPython Core, and there's a link to a list of those issues. We have 6 active milestones. We have 410, which has 1 open issue, and we have 3 open issues on the 4xx bug fixes, which I actually just closed one because it had been fixed. And this also says there's 4 issues not assigned a milestone, but I also just took care of those this morning, so we should be at 0, which is cool. Download stats wise, 402 is our latest stable release. We have 2,369 downloads as of yesterday on that, and then the alpha release, which is 410 beta 1, has 328 downloads, which is kind of surprisingly low given the fact that 4.1 is much better than 4.0. But that's why we should get it stable so that people can use it. We also have download stats by language, but I will not read those off. And now I'll kick it over to Kattni for library update.
Thanks, Scott. All right, we have 8 pull requests merged on over all the libraries by 7 authors with 5 reviewers. We have 38 open pull requests at the moment. Some of these are long-term, others of them are new and recent. Like Scott was saying earlier, if you are interested in getting started with contributing to CircuitPython but not sure where to get started, reviewing pull requests is an excellent place to start, and the libraries have many of those available. If you are not comfortable reviewing anything on the core, which involves a lot more C than Python, this is a great place to be able to review Python stuff. We had 11 closed issues by 5 people and 6 opened by 5 people, leaving us with 120 open issues. There is a link to those issues in the notes. And in terms of library updates over the last 7 days, no new libraries this last week, but the updated libraries are SimpleIO, ESP32SPI, PyBadger, SI4713, and the INA219 libraries. And that's where we're at with libraries.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kattni. Hug Reports is a chance for us to say thank you to folks who've been doing awesome work. We do this as a round robin, so if you just joined us and have not told us you're lurking, please drop in and let us know whether you're lurking or text only or things like that. I'll start just to give an example, and then we'll circle back through the list, skipping those who are lurking. I will take a time code first, though. First and foremost, thank you to Robots Go Boop, who I believe is MS Costi on GitHub. Thank you so much for your work on the ESP server support. It's really neat to see that going. Thanks to Jeff Epler, for the NRF work, including fixing the reset into bootloader stuff. I will get to your PR today. I had just had weekend before now. Thanks to Dan Halbert for all of the BLE Central work. Exciting to see it going and see BLE make progress. Thank you to Jacob Lee Zero for the SAMD peripherals fix. We had a loop incrementing that was actually a decrement check, so they fixed that for us. So thanks to them. Thanks to J&J Studios for the datum boards. Those will go out in the next release. Thank you to Maker Melissa for the website help getting the datum boards on CircuitPython.org. Thank you to Sedacious for just doing lots of maintenance sort of things like reviews and guide updates and forum support. So I really appreciate all of that. Lady Ada's also been doing a lot of reviews and merges, so that's also super handy. And then these last two are podcasts. So first, thanks to embedded.fm for having Kattni and I on their show. Should come out this week. And Kattni did a great job co-guesting with me. So thank you to Kattni for that as well. And lastly, thank you to Scott Hanselman for having me on his podcast. We recorded Thursday night and it goes out sometime soon on Hansel Minute. So check all of that stuff out. And thank you to everyone there. Let's circle back. And I think we're going to Charles. Is Charles lurking?
Sorry, my mic was not up.
No worries.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay. I just want to give a hug report to everybody, just because I found CircuitPython absolutely wonderful and useful. Thank you
Yay.
all.
Thanks, Charles. Okay. Let's go to Dan.
Hi. So thank you to Jerry for testing my BLE pull requests, both the library and the basic stuff. It's working for him, and he's got it working on an Argon, or I think, or some other particle board, as well as the Feather 52840s. That helps a lot to have the work verified by somebody else. Thanks to Jeff Epler for starting to work on PWM audio on NRF. And thanks to Bill Binko of AT Makers, who's working on some of those nice, snazzy, multicolored pinout diagrams that you've seen various places that we've had. He has a method of making it table-driven, so it does not have to be done completely manually. It's very easy to update the details once you lay out the basic structure of the diagram. Okay.
Thanks, Dan. All right, Deshipu.
Okay, so I have like untypical hack. It's a group hack to everyone who has worked on CircuitPython, but it's not just from me. I've been on this EuroPython conference now, and people are just floored with how CircuitPython works, and they are just amazed. People who were involved in creating microbit and people who were involved in teaching Python for years are just so surprised that it can be so simple to use this. So great thanks for everybody who enjoyed the pupils on CircuitPython. They are really impressed, and you have hacks from them.
Awesome. And thank you so much for being our Euro representative, basically. We really appreciate having a presence there and with all your cool hardware.
Thank
you. Okay. Now, Doc Malo's missing the meeting, so I will read theirs off. Doc says, sorry, taking a time code and speaking at the same time is hard. Doc Malo says, hugs to Kattni for helping me get the WPA2 Enterprise changes merged into the ESP32 spy library. And thank you to Jerry N for helping in bug hunting in my WPA2 Enterprise code for the ESP32 spy library. Okay, and now Jeff Epler is also not in the meeting, so I'll read his off as well. Jeff says, hugs to Lady Ada for advice about PWM audio frequency. Thanks to whoever helped me get CircuitPython on this particle xenon. And thank you to Tavish for their interest in what I'm working on. All right, and with that, we'll go to Jerry.
Hi. Thanks to Dan for all that BLE work. It's been fun to play with and got me excited about poking and prodding it. And to Maker Melissa for the cool calculator demo for the PyPortal. Works nicely. That was fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. Okay. Kattni.
So I have, first and foremost, a hug report for Doc Malo for slogging through a nasty merge conflict. I managed to let a PR slip on a library, and it got behind. And there were many, many commits involved, but they put in all the work. So that was very good. So hug report for that. Hug to Summersoft for continuing to work on Adabot and getting the circuitpython.org/libraries and /libraries/contributing updated and automated. I want to thank Embedded FM, Alicia, and Chris for hosting me and Scott this weekend. And thanks, Scott, for recording the podcast with me. And lastly, a hug report for Roy for continuing to help me with my keynote.
Awesome. All right, let's go to Maker Melissa.
Hello. Okay, so first of all, a hug report to you, Scott, for all the recent display I/O work, and also for the speed ups that allowed me to get the calculator up and running really well.
Yeah.
A hug report to Kattni for your upcoming keynote, and a hug report to Deshibu for sharing your EuroPython talk, and a group hug to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, let's go to Sedacious.
Howdy, howdy. So let's see what are my hug reports. This thing in front of me says that my hug reports are as follows. First to MS Costi, Robots Go Boop, again for the awesome work on adding server functionality to the airlift boards. Is also very receptive to discussing the best place to put it, and just generally making for a good PR experience. And I'm super looking forward to that functionality because, well, it's just gonna be awesome. So another one to Hot Thatch and Lady Ada for kicking butt doing some cool stuff with USB. Another to Scott for doing some awesome OLED work. Another one to Lamore and Phil for knocking it out of the park with a really awesome demo to some fancy pants people. And the last one to Bill Binko for the sweet diagrams that he's putting together for some boards. One of the cool things about them is that they have info on the timers and circoms available on different pins. And it'll be very, very nice to not have to pull that out of data sheet to look that up.
Yeah.
So, yep.
I think you missed one too, the Sagittac one.
Oh, right. Yes. Another to Sagittac for super sweet BBS running on a CircuitPython board. I believe it's connectable over UART, which is near and dear to my heart. Like many people of a certain age, I got my start going on BBSs, and it was my first quasi-internet-like socialization. So anyways, that was super, super cool to see, and I hope to see more of it. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Sedacious. And last but not least, Summersoft.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
So I'm going to echo a hug for Robots Go Boop for the server addition to the ESP32 SPI library. Dan for his BLE central work, and then Jay Epler for his NRF audio PMW out work. And then a group hug beyond that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Summersoft. Okay, let's move on to status updates. This is a chance for you to take a couple minutes to talk about what you've been working on in the last week and what you'll be working on in the coming week. It's a good way to just make sure that we're all on the same page and potentially give tips or tricks to other folks. The next section after this will be in the weeds, so if you have any longer form discussions or questions, just make a note of those and we'll circle back to them at that point. All right, let's talk status updates. Let me take a time code for myself. Last week, I was heads down on adding OLED support, so like grayscale OLED support into Display I/O. This is particularly like the SSD 1306, 1305. So I got that working both over SPI and over I2C, which is cool. The I2C bit was new. I'm a little bit behind because I went heads down on email and reviews, so expect me to do some reviews today. And then once I'm through that, I will be doing e-ink. So I laid the foundation for different color depths within Display I/O. The general idea is that you give palette, or both palette and color converter know how to go from 8-bit or 24-bit color down to different color depths. So if it's grayscale, it will actually compute like Luma for you and use that. So that's the general model for the way that it works. So you just basically use that same color and we'll tell you how it goes down to the lower color depths, and it should hopefully just work. And if it doesn't, you can customize those 24-bit values to get out what you want. So yeah, e-ink this week. We'll start probably with just getting black and white working. The third color is kind of tricky, so I may split that up into two things. We'll see. But yeah, it's all about displays so far. It looks like I'll probably do at least one release this week as well, so I will talk a bit more about that in the weeds. For now, let's circle back up the alphabetical order and go to Charles.
Isn't C. Grover there?
He's lurking.
Oh, okay.
He's doing landscaping.
Oh, dear. Well, anyway, I really don't have a whole lot to tell you about because I was in the middle of that storm for a while, so I didn't do a whole lot.
Well, that sounds like an update in and of itself.
Yeah, that's the best that's all I've been doing.
Yeah,
It's over.
that's good.
It's over for all intents and purposes for me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles. All right. And Charles, to ask your question about a link to the podcasts, they're not out yet, but we'll definitely share those around. You'll see them probably in community news next week at the latest. So, yeah, they're not out yet, but they'll be out shortly.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay, let's go to Dan.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, I have I made PRs for a bunch of new BLE functionality in CircuitPython, and there's some corresponding changes and additions to the Adafruit BLE library. So both of those are PRs right now, waiting to be reviewed. So when those are reviewed, then we'll make alpha or beta releases of CircuitPython that include that functionality. So that should be in a few days. We're trying to maybe polish off 4.1 as a general release, and soon after that we'll have a new alpha or beta. And then now that I've sort of come up for air after the BLE stuff, I have a backlog of some other things, including some like PRs and bug fit reports for the UF2 bootloader and some other things that I should take some time to look at. And then after that, I'll start working on BLE HID, which is complicated because it involves some security stuff, bonding and pairing.
And that bonding and pairing is also relevant to us doing the file transfer stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
there's something called object transfer
right.
service, which may come in handy with the file transfer stuff. We'll see.
Right, because my plan is to work on the file transfer stuff soon after I'm done with this OLED stuff. So it'd be nice if...
So I have the framework for you. That'll be great. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
But you've got time to take a breather. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Deshipu.
Okay, so as I mentioned already, there was EuroPython last week. We had 2 days of workshops, 4 workshops altogether. I think at least 30 people in each, with the Pew devices, and also a talk on how I made it. And during the conference, every day we had lightning talks, and on those lightning talks, people were showing also things they made on the Pew. So that was quite nice. I have a lot of feedback from that, and I have also a lot of motivation out of that. So I started, it was supposed to be a finished thing, but I think I will make one more version of Pew. I started looking into some D51 for it, and I have a first PCB design that I'm going to try. I can, one moment. Yeah, I can post this too. Here it goes. So it's basically credit card based, so the same as PyBadger. And I decided I will put the TFT display in there because it's about the same price as the matrix, as the LED matrix actually. And I can also always, display big squares on it for the Pew style of games. But then I can also display error messages because that's what trips people most.
Interesting.
That they couldn't because some of them use like random editors, not Mu
Right.
necessarily, and some of them used Mu, but they didn't have root access to add themselves to the dial-up group on Linux, so they couldn't use the serial, so they couldn't see the error messages, and that's not a pleasant experience in
Right.
debugging. So I want to have a display in there with the error messages, and I'm experimenting, seeing what I can remove to have like completely minimal SAMD51 port. We will see how that works. And yeah, and one more thing, I already added the GIF support to GIF format support to the image load. Now I will need to also add it to the stage library because I also want to have GIFs in there. I will see if I can somehow, because I don't want it to depend on the image loads. So probably some duplicated code will be in there. We will see. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And just for anybody who does happen to listen to this without video, Radimir posted a picture or a OshPark rendering of the new board, and it is credit card size, but it's also vertically oriented, whereas the Pi badge is the other direction. So that's interesting as well. All right, we have a couple folks that are not here, so I'll just read those off. Doc Molo is not in the chat and says, over the next few weeks, I'd like to make a few more tweaks and cleanups to the enterprise code in ESP32 SPI's Wi-Fi Manager library. Jeff Epler is also not in the meeting, and I will read his off as well. This one's a bit longer. Says, unfortunately cannot participate during weekly meetings due to the $day_job variable. NRF PWM audio is issue 1038. The status is looping a static waveform such as a sine wave at 62.5 kilohertz 8-bit mono is working, I assume. The goals, some minimal functionality pushed midweek, completion next Monday. Believe I'm on target to meet these goals. I understand in theory how to play longer sample without glitching, and the hardware should support stereo audio out. Audio will require one of the 4 PWM modules to be fully allocated to audio when audio out object is created. The NRF 52840 has limited PWM features, 16 megahertz count rate max. Hey Dan, can you mute? Each value and sample must play integral number of PWM cycles. Lady Ada's proposal is to always play at 62.5 kilohertz, giving exactly 8-bit fidelity. Need code to do resample any incoming waveforms to 62.5 kilohertz 8-bit. Not sure about algorithms, performance, and would love advice on that resampling. An alternative is to vary the carrier frequency by integer factor of original sample rate, but never below some cutoff value such as 62.5 kilohertz. It requires resampling to a calculated max value. The algorithm is clear, should work with some analog filter or small effect on audio fidelity, hopefully. 44.1 kilohertz is the worst case among common sample rates, would be rounded to 7.5 bits on output. Need to actually handle in-memory samples, fat samples. This code may need to be duplicated to appear once in audio I/O and once in PWM audio I/O. Is there a way around it? It doesn't seem like it should be need to be duplicated, but I'll just have to take a look at that. All right, and that's Jeff Epler's update. Let's go to Jared.
Yeah, so I got the time to play with the new BLE. Mostly, I've just been either taking Dan's demos that he's created and trying them on my board on the NRF52 840 Express, and also I tried it on a couple of the little dongle boards, the Maker Diary USB dongle and the PCA 10059. Both work fine, and also just played with a little old scanning routine that I had. So the upshot is that certainly seems to work well, and doesn't seem to have broken anything else either. I had an older program that I've been using for a long time to run a little BLE rover, and with just some minor changes that are needed because of changes in some of the calls, it all works fine. So I had a question about the PR. I haven't had time to go through line by line all the changes and a lot of them. So, do you want an approval of the PR based on just the fact that it doesn't seem to have broken anything and the demos work? Is that enough, or should we wait until for further, checking a detailed analysis of the PRs?
You can do however much testing you want and then approve it if you feel like it. If you want to go through, I don't expect you to go through the C code. If you want to go through the library, there aren't.
Okay, I'll take a little more time.
But it's not. So other people will review it too. So
right.
I think.
All right. I'll take a little more time with it. I'm trying to learn as I go too with some of the features that I can play with. So, but so far so good. And
okay, good, great, all right.
Thanks. Okay, and then let's see. Otherwise, I've spent a lot of time working on my deck. So, nothing to do with CircuitPython, but it keep me busy and having fun. So next week, a lot more of the same. I spend a lot more time with the BLE stuff, and probably a lot more time on the deck.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, Jerry. And I'll take a look at Dan's PR as well. So don't worry about being the only reviewer.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Kattni.
All right. So last week, I think I did more than this, but it doesn't really feel like it. Learned how to add a new board to CircuitPython, and then started the guide on how to add a new board to CircuitPython, followed by engaging in a lot of discussion regarding adding new boards to CircuitPython because it's a process I've done once and I'm writing a guide for it. So that was most, I think, of what I did last week, but I feel like there were other things. I also worked with Summersoft on sorting out, automating the updates to circuitpython.org/libraries and /libraries/contributing. This week is finish the guide. I will be doing various fritzing objects as those are assigned. A little bit of library cleanup stuff, very little, but there's at least one library that needs to be released. So I will be taking care of that. I need to merge the pull request that will automate as much as we possibly can the updating of circuitpython.org/libraries from Summersoft and figure out the workflow with that. I will be continuing Keynote prep this week, and I am out starting Friday for 12 days. I will actually be missing the next 2 meetings. No, 3, rather. I'm not off for that whole time, but I am going to be missing the following Monday as well. So I'll be gone for the next 3 meetings. Ohio is a regional Python conference that happens in Columbus, Ohio on the 27th and 28th of July, and I will be the opening keynote on July 27th. So that's going to be a lot of the rest of what I'm doing. So that's why my list of things to do this week is a little bit shorter than usual, is we prioritized the things that need to get done before I head out to focus entirely on the keynote.
How much vacation time after the keynote do you have?
A day and a half. It's basically recovering from the conference and then back to work.
Yeah, you should take maybe a couple more days.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, play it by ear, but know that is an option if you need it.
I know it all depends on how things are going. It'll probably be a slow ramp back up anyway.
Yeah.
Whether I want it to be or not.
The ramp up might be quicker if you actually took more days off.
I will give that consideration.
Cool. All right. Well, good luck, and
thank you.
We're excited to hear all about the keynote.
The videos are usually posted pretty quick, so I will have those for you guys. Have that for you guys probably the following week.
Awesome. All right. Let's go on to Maker Melissa.
Hello.
Hello.
So last week I finished up the PyPortal calculator and hopefully I got all the bugs out of that. I finished up the guide for that as well, and then I added some of the datum boards to CircuitPython.org. I worked on testing Freak Show on Raspberry Pi Buster, but there's currently too many issues to really continue. So I'm hoping if I wait a little bit, maybe some of the issues will get cleared up. And I helped Fedi to start adding a board to Blinka through Discord. And this week I'm going to be updating a bunch of the Arduino display breakout guides to reflect some changes to drawing a bitmap. And I'm going to hopefully start adding Onion Omega 2 to Blinka and writing a guide about how to add boards to Blinka.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah.
All right. Mike and Robots Go Boop are lurking, so we'll go to Sedacious.
Howdy, howdy. So last week I did a bunch of work on the VCNL 4040 proximity sensor Rev B that adds the quick connectors. Quick side note, quick connectors are super quick to test with because you don't have to solder headers on, so that's fun. So yeah, I did a lot of work with the Rev B. Did testing obviously of the Rev B. Also got started and finished the tester code and the tester PCB for that. Realized when starting on the guide that I have to double check some math in one of the attributes for one of the values it returns. So some debugging to do in that. What else? Did some miscellaneous forum support. We had a user report that the VCNL 770, no, the VML 770, V-Shape makes their numbers too close to each other. So anyways, the VML 770 is another light sensor, and apparently at high lux values, such as being outside in direct sunlight, it can have some non-linearities where the reported lux numbers are not what they should be. So they kindly provided some math to fix that. And so I implemented that, got some feedback, and we'll be hopefully finishing that up soon. Fixed the little bug in the INA 219 that was missing a bit on high voltage levels, high bus voltage levels. And that's a lot of what I did last week. This week, more work on the VCNL 4040 to figure out whatever that bug is. And then I'm doing some support on cleaning up some old repos that need some love, adding documentation, Travis where necessary, all kinds of fun stuff. And then I should today be receiving Rev B of some boards for a personal project I've been working on. Hopefully I'll get that spun up soon and everything works perfectly the first time because I don't have much time left for additional revs. But yep, that's it. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be other stuff, but that's it for now.
Awesome. Thanks, Sedacious. All right, Summersoft.
Hello. So last week was a bit of a slow week for me ish. Workcation ended on Monday, and then flight travel didn't go as planned and lost a day. So at any rate, so I fixed up the dynamic read the docs module support matrix PR that was failing Travis. It's now passing and is ready for review. And then, as Kattni mentioned, for the CircuitPython.org libraries updater in Adabot, we had originally gone with having it directly push commits to the master repo, but based on the settings of the repo needing a reviewer, those weren't working.
Right. The branch protection.
Right. Which is, I think, better than not having it. So basically, I just changed it to submit a PR the same way that the build release one works. So that was this past week. And then this coming week is kind of open, probably more Rosy Pi work, but nothing definite.
All right.
So that's all I got.
Cool. Thank you so much for all your work.
Yep.
Okay. and that is status updates. Thank you to everybody who has participated in that. Let's go to our last section, which is In the Weeds. In the Weeds is a chance to just have any longer form discussions that we need to have. The first item on this is from myself, which is just talking about release planning. So Dan has his BLE PRs, and they have changes to the APIs, so we'll need to do a major version bump. So that will be the core reason of having a 5.0 release. So I think what I propose is that I will do a 4.10 RC0, so a release candidate for 4.1. I'm not going to mark it stable right away because there was some changes since the last beta, including new boards. So I think what I'll do is I'll tag it as RC0, get it as unstable, and then I'll also make a 4.1.x branch that if we do find any fixes, we can do on. And that at that point, I will also tag a 5.0 beta or a 5.0 alpha 0 just to designate master as 5.0 from then on. Any objections to that? I don't expect any, but
Nope.
okay. Yeah, so that's the plan. Master will become 5.0 shortly once 4.1.0 release candidate 0 is released, so just be aware of that. Thumbs up. All right, so that we didn't really go into the weeds there. I don't know, maybe it should have been in a different section. But let's go to Kattni for the other thing.
This isn't really very far into the weeds either, but it's a quick note about pull requests. If you put in a PR and we don't get to it, bear in mind that we are not perfect and we miss things. If you have put work into it, we've asked for changes, or you put it in and nobody's done anything on it, feel free to ping us in some way, shape, or form, either by pinging us through tagging, the whole group of CircuitPython librarians on GitHub, or tagging one of us individually, getting on Discord, asking whether or not anybody's had a chance to look at it, that sort of thing. Give it 24, 48 hours for us to have a chance to fit it in. But if we haven't put a note in there about a reason why we're waiting, please feel free to ping us.
Yep.
Don't let it languish. We do what we can, but we will forget things and then end up with people having terrible merge conflicts to fix. And while that may have been an awesome learning experience and they were extremely nice about it, it's not good. So
right.
With any PRs, not just library PRs, with core PRs, any kind of contribution stuff that you're doing, do not hesitate to let us know after 24 to 48 hours if we have not followed up with you.
I would add that doesn't apply to weekends.
Correct. That does not apply to weekends. Yeah. So if you put it in late on a Friday night, do not expect to hear back until Monday. Monday or Tuesday.
Right. If you don't hear back on Monday, then I would say bug us about it.
Yeah, and any one of us. If we are not the right person for the job, we will definitely help you find the person that is.
Yep.
And that's all I wanted to say about that.
Awesome. Any other topics for In the Weeds? I haven't heard of any. All right, well, let's call it. This has been the CircuitPython. I'm doing time codes and talking again. This has been the CircuitPython community meeting for July 15th, 2019. Everybody is welcome to join this meeting. It happens every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, or thereabouts. We do skip or move Mondays where it's a U.S. holiday, so make sure and check on the CircuitPython text channel on our Discord, whereas the meeting happens in the voice channel as well. To join the Discord, you can go to adafru.it/Discord. That will drop you in. We're in the text channel all week, in the voice channel during the meeting. The meeting was recorded, so beware that your voice, if you speak, will be recorded and posted on YouTube. and it will go out as a podcast as well. Those videos have links to the notes doc, which has time codes in it so that people can skip around if they want to. That recording, the video recording, is on youtube.com/Adafruit. That's the gist. If you want to get all the news that's fit to print about Python and Python on microcontrollers, check out the Python on microcontrollers newsletter that goes out Tuesday morning. You can join at adafruitdaily.com. It's a separate mailing list from our customer, the Adafruit customer list, so you will not get spam. You will just get the newsletter you signed up for. And it always has lots of good details, including the link to the videos for this meeting. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you to everyone who's participated both in this meeting and in the CircuitPython community in general. And we'll see y'all next week at our normal time on Monday.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.